It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First up is Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center talking about heat and your horse. Next, we catch up with Dixie Harlow and the rest of the Haskell County 4-H'ers that have taken on some of the orphaned calves from the Starbuck Wildfire. See how these kids got these calves fair ready. And we'll end with 2 Western Kansas companies that are helping find ways to conserve the precious water resources, including the Ogalla Aquifer. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hello and welcome to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and today we're going to talk about heat and your horse. We always are concerned with us in heat advisories and when we have heat indices in the hundreds, but don't forget about your horse. We also talk about small animals and those kind of things, but again, your horse in the elements needs to be of a concern and need to make sure that we are with them, or at least know what we need to do to keep them cooled off or keep them from having a heat stress or heat stroke. Now, what would we do initially? It would be same for you and I. Water, fresh water. I mean, that's kind of one of those things that's easy to remember, but again, sometimes when it's really hot, we may forget to go and check that on the horse. Maybe they'll go through a lot more water too. You have to remember that your horse, a standard size horse, 1,100-pound horse, could drink up to 20 gallons of water or more a day when it's really hot. So do you have that much water for each one of your horses every day, especially when it gets hot? It sure is something to think about. The other thing to think about for horses is as they commingle. You have to remember that water is one of those precious resources that a horse will guard. So a dominant horse could protect its water source and keep other horses from getting to that water tank. So make sure you know the dynamics of your horses if they're in groups, and you may need to have at least 2 or 3 other water sources for your horse in the same pen if that seems to happen. So again, knowing how much your horse is going to drink as far as water and having enough water sources is going to be important when it's really hot outside. The other thing is electrolytes. You know, you and I, we try to make sure we keep our electrolytes high, especially when we're sweating. Horses sweat too. They lose a lot of their electrolytes in their sweat, like salt, and that is something you need to keep in mind for your horse. Now, a horse, based on consumption, is usually just make sure they have a salt block available at all times, especially in the summer, because again, they're losing a lot of that salt in their sweat. Sometimes you can just add salt to their grain, but be careful, don't over add too much salt. Maybe just a tablespoon max is usually what's needed for a horse if you're going to add it to their grain. But the best thing to do is just a salt block, so they can just have access to it whenever they want it or crave salt. But there's other electrolytes too that they sure could be involved with. The other thing we need to remember is shade. Shade itself can actually take and drop the temperature by 10 to 20 degrees when it's really hot. So either have trees or access to barns or run-in barns that they could have with those things in different environments. In addition to those shades is airflow, fans. Kind of keep those things in mind too. Even when it's really humid, you got to have the wind to evaporate to cause for cooling. Now, if your horse is overheating, what will they show? Lethargy, sometimes colic. Take their temperature. If it's over 103.5 degrees Fahrenheit, they could have heat stress or heat exhaustion. So you probably need to get your veterinarian involved in those aspects and times. Again, if you got any other questions about your horse and heat, contact us here at the vet school or contact your veterinarian. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins for Horsing Around, and we'll see you around.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
We are coming to our final days with our Orphaned Calves project that we all started in March. And it's starting to become a little bit bittersweet for some of us, I think. We've all put in a lot of hard work. The kids age from 4 to 15, and it's amazing to watch what they have done and what they've accomplished through their dedication and making these calves live and thrive with all that they've gone through.
Well, we all like to help out as much as we can around to help others.
They're back on track, they're eating hay now, and they're eating grain, and we've weaned them. They've grown a bunch.
To go through that kind of trauma that they were through, to be burned, the stress of losing their mother, of not being weaned yet, to Lava, who was, a couple months ago, he was severely burned on the underside of his stomach. There was so much wrong with him, and we weren't sure how that was going to turn out, and he is here today with us at the fair. The kids are going to show him tonight during a special Orphan Calf project. Yes, Jamie's gotten a little bit of attached to him. We went through quite a bit with him, so she's going to show him tonight as a final appreciation and goodbye to our producers who allowed our agriculture kids here in Haskell County to be a part of helping them rebuild what they've lost, to help them get back on track, and to allow them to serve their agricultural rural community. And it's amazing to watch these 7 young children in Haskell County 4-H to just thrive and grow through their dedication that they have gone through the last 4 months, and to really learn what it is to give their hands to larger service for those around them. And it's been an honor to watch them go through this.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on AGam in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses and rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months, and I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to AGam Kansas. I am with Ashley and Jamie at the Haskell County Fair. So how did you raise your orphan calves?
We made salve and we put ointment and we fed them and made sure they had bottles every morning and night.
And later on, we started putting on feed too.
So how did you guys raise your calves?
We started with a bottle and we gave them a little bit of grass hay, and after 45 days we started seeing if they would eat grain, and they made the transition pretty smoothly, and now they're eating grain.
What other kind of treatments did you have to do for your calves?
Well, we had to stay up late and put cream on their burns. We had to make sure that they have food and water.
How did you help raise the orphan calves?
I made bottle. I feed them with bottle, and I help them, and I helped them feed poop out, and I helped them at a fair.
What's the difference between raising someone else's calf than raising your own?
Well, when you're raising someone else's calf, you always got that in the back of the mind that you're going to have to give it back to them, so you want to, like, return it better than you found it.
I just try to make sure they're fed and watered and taken care of.
How did you come up with the idea about this booth?
Well, the theme was about the booth was Barn in the USA. So I thought it went well, since we're doing orphan calves, it'd be good to be in a barn style. So we started with the barn cutout, and we went from there.
Then we made all the letters, and then we had a slideshow on what we did.
What does it take to get the calves ready for the fair?
It takes hard work. It took all summer to get this little red heifer that we have to lead, and when we get done with leading, we have to do other things to improve on our leading.
Well, pretty much it takes all year round to do it. You work every day on this beef project, and until you get to the fair, you work even harder.
What are the judges looking for in a calf?
What you know about them, what you feed, what their body parts are, and that's pretty much it.
What kind of questions do the judges ask you when you're getting ready for your beef show?
Most of the time they ask you what breed it is, how much it weighs, where you got it, and what feed you feed it.
Favorite part about raising livestock?
The end, because all that hard work you do and put into them, from them going into 120 pounds to 340 pounds is a big difference. So I like to watch that difference grow.
What happens to the calves once we leave the fair?
Well, sometimes it's your choice. There's a premium sale, and you can sell your calf or you keep it. And this year I'm going to be selling one of my market heifers, and 3 other of my calves are going to be staying with me.
Well, their rightful owners are going to come take them, and it's going to be hard, but at the same time it's going to feel good because you know you helped someone out.
It's going to be hard to let go of them since they've been with us a long time, and we've got to attach to them.
We appreciate all the helpers of the Orphan Calf Project, and we'll see you next time at AGam in Kansas.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
I'm Andy Wall. We're from St. Francis, Kansas, and we're a center pivot dealership. By 2012, as we're nozzling a lot of sprinkler systems down, we started looking at ideas of how can we get this aquifer to a point that's sustainable. We started looking at some technology that was out at that time, and we converted our own farm into an experiment farm. And there we really get to push the limits on water conservation while at the same time trying to maintain profitability and still historical yields or increase yields in most cases. We've since went a little bigger than that. We have this year probably roughly 150 moisture probes out that we've installed for farmers, and we do a full farm water management system with them, where we integrate not only the moisture probe, but also their pivot technology into that, and weather data, crop modeling, and then make water recommendations to them once a week. And so how typically a season would look like is after the grower plant his crop and gets it up, we will go and install the moisture probe. We do a direct install method, so we don't want to disturb the soil any more than we have to, because we want it to be representative for the rest of the field. At that point, we collect the planting information and the crop information. We plug that into a platform that we can track, so we can really match our water scheduling with it very accurately. We sync this moisture probe also with his center pivot at that time if he's got accents, so we can real time see what he's doing with his pivot and relevance to where the probe is at. That really helps us adjust our applications. If we're seeing that they're penetrating the water too deep or not deep enough, we can really help them target their most active root zone. And then like I said, we make water recommendations every Friday, 4 more unless we've seen there was a significant weather event. And then at the end of the season, before they get to harvest, we will go and extract that probe. We collect all the data, so that entire growth season, rainfall, growth, irrigation, scheduling, all that gets archived. And so we're always going to have that information to look back on. So the grower gets all that information, how much water he pumps, so we can evaluate that. And then next year we can use this kind of information over years to make decisions, making even better, and kind of learn from the evaluated experience that we had year before, and kind of try to build a manual, so to speak, for that specific field. We really have to take into account the size of the well, where it's located at, and if the grower is moving water between 2 pivots. A lot of those things play into there, and how long we can delay our irrigation. We have a tremendous opportunity to save water early in the season, and then especially at the end of the season when we start seeing we get into maturity, we know real time how much water is still in our soil, so we can try to make sure we utilize that and not just waste that away. So we're going to try to maximize that. That is a real good opportunity for us to save water too. Instead of over irrigating at the end, we can delay with confidence then.
I think also another thing we do is we don't slurry when we put our probes in. We go straight into the soil. We don't add extra water in and throw our readings off for You know, the whole year when you disturb the soil with extra water that's not present there all year long, it throws off your readings, which is also another thing that we try to be really accurate on when we install them too.
Yeah. If you are going to schedule irrigation for the whole field based on what 2 plants are seeing, it's got to be exactly what the rest of the field is seeing. We do EM the fields and try to find the most optimal probe placement that's most representative of that field. The placement of the probe is very, very important. And in the off season, we have 4 certified water technicians at our office. In the off season, we all get recertified, and we learn about properties, you know, when it comes to soil and plants, and the relevance of that in water. Every year, I mean, whatever it's the newest technology at that point, we get updated on it. And every year, I mean, it just gets better and better and better as we have more advances in technology all the time.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Troy Dunlow, General Manager of the Garden City Company. We're a landholding company, been around here in Finney County for 110 years, and we rent all of our land out to 15 farm operations located in Finney and Kearney counties. And you know, we've used irrigation water for, you know, the life of the company. And it's becoming more critical as far as, you know, the Ogallala is declining, and the question is, how do we maintain that production, and how do we more efficiently use the water that we have? And so we're partnering with some of our farmers to implement some new technologies, develop some water conservation plans to help maintain that water in the future. I think there's some technologies out there, and some of the technologies that have been implemented by our farmers that are very encouraging, that can help manage water use in both, one, measuring how much water we have in the soil surface to help make decisions when we apply and when we only apply when we need to. There's some new improved technologies on center pivots that can help apply that water much more efficiently, reducing the evaporation. And so I think those, in combination with other farming practices, you know, a lot of the hybrids that are out there, some of those technologies too can really help to lessen the water we use, to use it more efficiently, and still maintain our profitability for both us and our farmers. One of the big questions that comes up when we're talking about conservation is, how do we weigh the short-term, you know, economic needs that we have with the long-term desire to extend the aquifer and maintain profitability in long-term. And, you know, that's a major issue. And so it's trying to strike a balance between, okay, how can we save water now and still maintain revenues that we have? You know, and some of the technologies that we've seen, you know, that are, you know, farmers have been using, you know, we've seen them been able to use less water and still maintain those yields, which, you know, in turn translates to profitability and maintaining, you know, values, land values, et cetera. And so that's an important key, is to try to come up with a plan that still maintains profitability in the short term, but, you know, increases profitability in the long term. Because, you know, without water, it's, you know, we're talking dry land production, which, you know, it takes a lot more acres of dry land production to survive as a farm operation than it would irrigated. And so that's our goal, is to maintain that water as long as we can, but still maintain our profitability now.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.